This is Mac OS Ken.
Apple's got a scary fast Mac event planned. The time is now for Apple Pay Later. And get ready for Keely Jones' Dream House. It is Wednesday, the 25th of October, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. Go to greenchef.com/60MOK and use code 60MOK for 60% off plus free shipping. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. Apple seems to have pulled a fast one. While Bloomberg's Mark Gurman did say over the weekend that Apple could launch new Macs before the end of this month, I'm not sure how many people thought that was going to happen. Well, it's going to happen. A piece from TechCrunch says Apple sent out invitations Tuesday for a scary fast event set for next Monday, the 30th of October. Scary fast is what the event's called, and invitations is kind of an odd word to use. Notifications might make more sense, since the event is going to be entirely online. As for why Macs are the expectation, it has to do with the associated art. Well, that Gurman rumor. Regarding the art, a visit to Apple's events page shows the outline of a borderline creepy Apple logo, kind of shifting between light and shadow. When it drops into full shadow, it's replaced by a slightly more creepy version of the Finder mark. The two smiley faces sort of merged into one, or one split smiley face, depending on how you look at it. It's not overly creepy. I mean, the smiley faces don't look angry. There's no blood, as far as we know. We might just call it stylized, were it not for the word scary in the title, and were the associated event not happening on All Hallows Eve. So what's coming exactly? Well, we don't know exactly, though M3 Macs seem the most likely candidates, hence the fast part of scary fast. TF International analyst Ming-Chi thinks that'll be the case. Anyway, he does now. Before yesterday, a piece from Apple Insider indicates that the analyst did not see new Macs coming before the end of this year. What a difference a borderline creepy logo can make. Now he thinks M3 Macs will make the scene, though he also thinks they'll be hard to get. Still using Twitter for some reason. The analyst went there to say, I believe M3 series MacBook Pro will be October 30th media event's focus. I previously predicted a launch this year is unlikely due to limited fourth quarter 23 shipments, less than 400 to 500,000 units in total. If new MacBook Pros launch in November or December, tight supply will last into the first quarter of 2024, unless demand weakens. What else might we see? Well, Call to Mac points out that the iMac has not been updated since 2021. While faster processors for that machine might happen, rumors indicate no significant redesign for that desktop until next year or the year after, according to the cult. A piece from 9to5Mac turns back to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. According to that piece, Gurman expects Apple to unveil M3 Pro and M3 Max 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models. They'll feature up to 16-core CPU and up to 40-core GPU options, according to Gurman. He thinks iMac will make the move to the M3 processor. He does not expect M3 MacBook Airs. Those are said by Gurman to be trailing MacBook Pros in development, according to 9to5Mac. Now, less rumor, more speculation. Another piece from 9to5Mac thinks some new USB-C cords could make the scene. Doing its own call and response, the site asks, remember those USB-C cables that were purportedly going to be color matched to the iPhone 15 and packaged with the new phone? The site then answers, yeah, that didn't happen. The folks who called the claim dubious and predicted instead that they were intended for the iMac will likely take a victory lap on Monday evening. I'm sorry, Monday when? Yeah, when it's happening may honestly be the most surprising part of Apple's surprise event. Not the Monday thing, though that does feel unusual. More unusual, though, this one is happening in the evening. Monday's Scary Fast event is set to pop at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. As for where to catch it, it'll stream through Apple's events page. Though I've not seen it confirmed, one assumes it will play through the Apple TV app on iPhone, iPad, the Mac, various game consoles, and what's that other thing that has the Apple TV app? Oh yeah, Apple TV. As has become customary, a piece from Mac Rumors says the event will stream on YouTube. The company's already put up a placeholder for that. If you miss the stream, it will also be available as a podcast. I'm not sure whether this is a new thing, but Apple slipped a promo for the event into my latest episodes on Tuesday. While I do follow the Apple Events feed on Apple Podcasts, I don't remember that happening before. Then again, a lot of stuff happens a lot of the time, and I forget a lot of things. It seems now is the time for Apple Pay Later. Pieces from 9 to 5 Mac and Apple Insider say the Buy Now, Pay Later service, originally announced in June of 2022, is finally officially launched in the US. The service is simple, says 9 to 5 Mac. Qualified buyers can break down a purchase into 4 equal payments. The initial payment is due at purchase, followed by another payment every 14 days over 6 weeks. Apple charges no interest on qualified transactions. What the site doesn't say is where to find it. I sort of thought it would be a function of Apple Wallet. Turns out that is not where this starts. According to Apple Insider, Apple Pay Later is available in the US and appears as an option on websites that accept Apple Pay. According to the report, customers must apply for the program, and a soft pull on their credit is performed to determine eligibility. Even if the customer is approved for $1,000, the program is only eligible for the exact purchase amount. As for requirements, Apple Insider says users must be 18 years or older, must be a U.S. citizen or lawful resident with a physical address, must have a debit card and Apple Wallet set up for Apple Pay, must be using two-factor authentication for Apple ID, and may be required to verify identity with a driver's license or state-issued photo ID. Hey, here's a question. What the heck happened to all the OS updates? A little over a week ago, France seemed to let the cat out of the bag as to when iOS 17.1 would be out to the planet. After a month-long back and forth, it had Apple saying it would fix a radio wave issue in iPhone 12 that it also said didn't need to be fixed. The Cupertino company said that fix would be in a special version of iOS 17.1 specifically for France. France then told its citizens that Apple had committed to deploy an update in France and that the fix would be available to all users no later than the 24th of October. With release candidates for iOS 17.1 and its ilk hitting last week, it seemed that France was correct and that the various updates would be available to all users no later than the 24th of October. It is now later than the 24th of October and no updates. Hey France, I want my money back. Pain and anguish or something. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. If you've tried HelloFresh, this is that, but different. Green Chef is now owned by HelloFresh, bringing you a bigger selection of meal plans from which to choose. Let me tell you about one of my recent Green Chef meals, spicy chili ginger chicken kale salad, full of things that I really don't like dried shiitake mushrooms, carrots, cabbage. but hit them with kale, toasted almonds, a truly tasty chicken cutlet, and an amazing ginger lime dressing. And even the bites with the carrots were delicious. Green Chef has 8 meal preferences to choose from, including quick and easy, calorie smart, delicious discoveries, and more. Their recipes feature certified organic fruits and vegetables, organic cage-free eggs, and sustainably sourced seafood. And if you want to build healthier eating habits this fall, every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. Go to greenchef.com/60MOK and use code 60MOK to get 60% off plus free shipping. That's greenchef.com/60MOK and use code 60MOK to get 60% off plus free shipping. I seriously think you're going to love your Green Chef meals. Use code 60MOK to get 60% off plus free shipping at greenchef.com/60MOK. The White House seems to have spoiled an Apple surprise. Mac rumors cited a Reuters report on Tuesday that had the White House indicating that Apple is expanding its self-service repair and independent repair provider programs and will make parts, tools, and documentation needed for product repairs available to repair shops and consumers nationwide. According to the report, the Biden administration is working to usher in a nationwide right-to-repair law, which Apple is endorsing. While Mac rumors expected more info on the plan from Apple on Tuesday, as of now, Apple has made no formal nationwide repair announcement. I demand that you give me what you are already giving me. That seems to be the rallying cry against Apple by a group representing television and radio broadcasters in Canada. According to a piece from Apple Insider, the Online News Act is Canada's new law that requires Facebook and Google to share revenues with the news publishers whose work they use. Makes sense. Also, not going to happen anytime soon. Faced with the prospect of having to pay, Facebook and Google shut down their news services in the Great White North. But broadcasters seem to think that they have bigger fish to fry. Citing a report from Canada's National Post, Apple Insider says the Canadian Association of Broadcasters wants the Online News Act to cover all online news, but it is specifically naming Apple as an example. Of course, as Apple Insider points out, Apple does pay for the news it presents in Apple News Plus, doing so in part through its News Partner Program. And that will apparently be news to Canadian broadcasters. With Apple recently ending its sales of leather, iPhone, and Apple Watch accessories, you might think this would be Pat and Quill's time to shine. Sadly, instead, Pat and Quill is going out of business. iDownload blog ran a piece Tuesday saying the accessory maker for Apple Gear is calling it quits after 13 years in business. If you don't know them, the report says Pat and Quill developed its reputation as a luxurious brand, offering items such as cases, Apple Watch straps, bags, wallets, and other everyday items crafted from earthy and natural materials such as leather and wood. In a bittersweet move, the company is selling out its remaining stock, though a number of items were already gone by midday Tuesday. Most discounts hover around the 50% off region. Of course, since they're going out of business, all sales are seriously final. If you're interested, you can see what's left at padandquill.com. And finally today, a mashup of intellectual property that will not be a your chocolate in my peanut butter moment. Not for me anyway. Cult of Mac says toy maker Mattel has a new line of Ted Lasso, Barbie, signature dolls. Barbie decked out in AFC Richmond gear I think I could respect. But this is not that. Rather, the piece says Mattel Creations released 3 new dolls Tuesday based on characters from the show: Ted Lasso, Rebecca Welton, and Keely Jones. Step right up, they're $50 a piece. Not sure what my problem is with these signature Barbies. Maybe it's that only the Ted Lasso doll actually looks like the character it's supposed to be. That said, Hannah Waddingham, Juno Temple, and Jason Sudeikis get to be part of the Barbieverse now. Heck, if somebody offered, I might go for it. Can you imagine? A Ken doll? Not that I need that. I am Ken-off. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. Go to greenchef.com/60MOK and use code 60MOK for 60% off plus free shipping. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways: info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.